Hi there. This video is primarily for online students, so if you are meeting on campus, you can hit the stop button and go do something else with your life. If you want, this will be somewhat like the material I will cover at least one day in class to give an overview of things. So I am going to focus this little talk here, I guess it's a lecture, on the course focus, the course overview, the syllabus overview, the assignment process, and the portfolio process, all of which are core components of the class. So the core focus is on what is called by writing scholars and people who care about this kind of stuff, writing about writing. What we do is write about the writing and yourself as writers. And so the material we read and what we write about that material is all about writing. And the goal of this is to produce the final thing we write, something of a theory of writing for yourself. Don't worry that this is some big, weird, convoluted notion, though it may be, but you already have a theory of writing. You just probably don't know what it is because nobody's asked you to think about it. And so we're going to work on articulating that and seeing how it changes and finding something that you can bring forward and use as a basis for writing in your other classes and in other situations. So writing about writing. There are two other schools of thought when it comes to about how to structure class. Along with writing about writing, there's one called the expressivist model, where you write about situations and yourself. So you might write about the stupidest thing you ever did and the lesson you learned from it, or the greatest struggle you had overcome, and that kind of thing. And it's a not uncommon, but the thing is that scholarship doesn't show that what you do there carries over, let's say, into your history class or outside of the academic world. It's a good thing to get to know yourself better and understand yourself better, and so that's one strategy that people take, but I don't. The other is called the cultural studies model. There's a couple of other variations on that, where you would write about maybe race, politics, that sort of thing, and what you learned from that sort of stuff. And that's all well and fine also, but like the expressivist school of teaching writing, it doesn't necessarily produce better writing in other situations. It just helps you better understand race relations or presidential election or whatever it is. What the things you write about, what I guess what ties all three of these together is a pretty solidly researched and supported idea that what you write about is what you learn. And so since this is a writing class, and I want you to learn about writers or writing and being better writers, we're going to write about writing. So they all tie together. I just have a different focus than some faculty members. So that's it. And at the end, your final writing task will be that theory of writing that ideally you can take with you, will take with you on paper or hopefully in your head when you go to write other things. So there's that. Okay, so a course overview. I really don't. We'll have three major assignments and then a fourth semi-major assignment. And I'll go over those in greater detail, each of the assignments. Well, each of the assignments is going to require reading some scholarly, appropriate material about writing, teaching of writing, being a writer in the academic environment. And you will be asked to plug yourself into that context. You are now a writer in an academic environment. Maybe not the way you thought you want to be, but as a student, you are a writer in an academic environment. And so we're going to help you understand that as best I can. I should say I. So anyhow, so we'll do that. So there will be three major assignments. All will be appropriate to the final portfolio, which we'll go over in just a little bit. Each will go through several revisions. I used to do 4 assignments with 2 drafts of each assignment. I now do 3 assignments requiring 3 drafts of each assignment. And we'll go over the expectations of each of those in turn. So, but only 2 of those, excuse me, will go into the final portfolio, and it'll be the 2 of your choosing, and I'll help you choose. So we'll choose wisely. So the syllabus, we'll go over that real quickly. I am not going to read it to you. If you're watching this video, off to the left on the screen, there is in the menu, it says syllabus, so you can click on that. Like I said, what you don't get to see are pictures of me done in comic book style, and my dogs and cats, or our dogs and cats at home, and one of my bicycles. You can see right now, I'll hold up. There is one of our dogs, Lulu, and there's me. Anyhow, so you miss out on that kind of stuff. So it has the official course description, which I'm not going to read to you because that is more boring, and this is probably already boring enough. There is, Lulu says, she's telling you that what this course is intended to do, and that's to help you understand the rhetorical situation and apply it to all of your writing and to your own theory of writing. And so we'll go into more detail on that later. There are the official course learning outcomes. These are decided by the English department. They go through a curriculum committee for official school approval and all that kind of stuff. So these are the things we will do. You will do all of these things in the class, some more than others. Some will stick with you more than others. We'll kind of see how that goes, but we'll definitely hit all those outcomes, and you will get experience with those. There is Caliban. Some of you might know who Caliban is. Not my cat Caliban, but the Shakespearean character. You can put that in the comments below if you want. He's telling you that essays are not going to be graded. Basically, I'll tell you this is ready for the portfolio, or this is not ready for the portfolio, and here's what you can do to get it ready for the portfolio. By the same token, I'll say, you know, this is portfolio ready, but you might want to do these things to make it stronger still. So anyhow, no essay grading. I'll just give you a you did it or you didn't do it kind of thing, and that's how I score things, and I'll tell you why in just a second. So one of our dogs, Kai, the other dog, we have 2, tells you that portfolio ready work means your work is essentially C-ish, give or take a little bit. If I say it's just barely portfolio ready, you know, the reading and responding to of writing is not a science in any way, shape, or form, but it's a pretty well-grounded and informed activity. So you should really trust me. My hope is to have everybody be successful. I'm not a gatekeeper. You know, a gatekeeper being someone who sees their job as blocking out the people who do not belong or something like that. I see my job as doing what I can to help you get to the next step. So that's how we do it. And so if I'm telling you that something is not portfolio ready, I hope you will take me at my word. And when I tell you that if you can do X, Y, and Z with it, that you will get it going in the right direction, that you will take my word, do your best with that, and you know, see what happens. It's not necessary, even though each assignment goes through 3 drafts as a required part of the class. You know, sometimes it's going to take you 5 or 6 or whatever it's going to take. You know, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes. I mean, some people are comfortable with writing and can write pretty well. Some struggle and hate it with every fiber of their being. Regardless, we have to get you all through it. And so I'm going to help as much as I can. So I don't grade each essay, and I do my best to minimize grading for the class, but we're down at the grading contract part, and it tells you the grading contract. If you fulfill it, you will earn a B for the class. And you have to pass the portfolio process. You have to complete a minimum of 80% of the process activities given with each assignment. It's not like 80% for each assignment, but it's 80% for the whole class. You need to submit all the drafts on time. You need to respond to your peers on time, that sort of thing. I mean, it's all part of the class. It's all aimed at making you a stronger, more capable writer, being more successful, that sort of thing. So, and also, I guess, to some degree, managing your time well. So we want to do that. So basically, if you do the things I ask and you are successful in the final portfolio, your final grade is a B 3.0. If you feel that you are an A-level writer, then after passing the portfolio, and the other aspect of that is, well, not other aspects, I haven't told you any aspects, but first you have to pass the portfolio. That's key to everybody. You need to have completed a minimum of 90% of all the process activities, and pretty much every assignment in the class has just got 1 point to it. You get 1 point, you get 0 points. And at the end, we look at the percentage, and it is what it is. And if it's like, 6 weeks late and there's no point to doing it, you won't get credit for doing it. We don't do things just to build up the number, to jump hoops. We get credit for doing them when they need to be done, when they promote better writing, better learning. So anyhow, so 90% of the process stuff done when it needs to be done. And then at the end, you will write an argument demonstrating how your writing exhibits departmental criteria. Oh my goodness. There's something missing there. I didn't proofread well enough. Known as Garrison for an A. And I will go over that with you. We don't have to worry about that until essentially early December. But darn, I need to fix that. Okay, so anyhow, too late. So, you do everything, you pass the portfolio, or you do pretty much everything, pass the portfolio, get a B, you do darn near everything. I only miss 1 or 2 things along the way for whatever reason. Pass the portfolio, write an essay demonstrating that you understand various concepts of an A quality piece of writing, and I'll tell you which ones are important, and you'll get whatever grade I determine after that. If for some reason you only complete between 60 and 80% of the class process activities, fall short in any of the other 3.0 B expectations, but pass the portfolio, you'll get a C, and that's really the grade that matters. So you can then go on to English 102. You can transfer the course to another institution if you don't get your AA here, that sort of thing. So C is the minimum grade you want. If you don't pass the portfolio but you do all the work, you'll need to repeat the class. You'll get a 1.7. If you don't pass the portfolio and you're missing a whole lot of work, you will get a D, 1.0 for the class. And if you just disappear and end up not doing a lot of work and that sort of thing, you can fail the class. But we like to avoid that. And then one of my bicycles tells you that, roughly speaking, you need to allot 15 hours a week to a class like this. For online students, that means more reading of the material, not reading it just once and being done with it, but reading it 2 or 3 times, that sort of thing, and asking questions and doing the work that needs to be done. So, yeah, so that's the syllabus. The assignment process is that we will have, excuse me, I will give you an assignment. We will do some invention type activities. Whenever you have readings, you'll be required to annotate and submit those annotations to me so I can see not that just you're doing the work, but that you're understanding the reading, because most of you don't read these kinds of things. So we want to make sure you understand that. So you'll do that. You'll do some work. All of this work builds toward the assignment. We don't do exercises that aren't directly related to assignments. So everything is directly related to an assignment, and hopefully you'll see the connections as we go through them. At some point, we'll take all that information and you'll have to come up with a draft of your essay. That draft will be due at a certain point. You will submit that draft, and once drafts are submitted, you will be given the essays of some classmates to read and respond to, and so part of my job is to teach you how to give thoughtful responses as well. and giving those thoughtful responses is part of getting your credit for doing the coursework. So you'll give you'll give responses. Ideally, you'll receive 3 responses as well that are helpful, and you will then take that information and help and apply it to your revision. Now, some of the advice will be good, some of it will be bad, and some of it will be good, and you just don't want to follow it because you disagree with it. And so that's part of the decision-making process you're going to have to engage in. I don't read these first drafts. I'll be happy to answer questions about them, of course. But after you submit a draft, respond and get responses, you then revise and submit the second draft of the assignment. At this point, I give you a formal response based on the assignment expectations, general college writing expectations, and that sort of thing. Essentially, would it be successful in the portfolio process? And then I get it back to you as quickly as possible. Since I have 2 English 101 classes, that means I have close to 50 students. And at 15 minutes of paper, we're talking 12 plus hours of work to get those done. So it takes a little bit of time, and I'm not one of those teachers who can sit down and bang away for 12 hours because the people after the first hour are going to have a tired reader. So I break that up and try to give everybody thoughtful, rested responses. So anyway, I'll give you that response. I try to give you particular specific suggestions on what to do in your revision process. And ideally, you will follow those to the best of your ability, ask me questions about that which you don't understand, and you will revise and submit that third draft, at which point you have completed the formal expectations. Your essay may or may not be ready for the portfolio at that point, and if it is, I'll tell you. If it isn't, I'll tell you. And if it isn't, I'll tell you what you still might need to do, or what you need to do better, or whatever it is. Who knows? And so, generally speaking, we'll do that with 3 essays. There will be a 4th piece of writing that goes in the portfolio. It's not as rigidly examined, so while it has to be good, it won't go through 3 drafts. I don't know how many drafts it'll go through, actually. We'll kind of see when we get there. But anyhow, by the time you're ready to write that one, you'll be, if you're doing everything, you'll be in good shape and ready to go. So that's the assignment process. We do some invention. You do a draft. You give and get feedback. You do another draft. You submit it to me. You get feedback from me. You revise it again. And maybe you continue revising it in order to get it ready for the portfolio process. So the portfolio process, here we are now, happens at midterm and at final. At midterm, the portfolio requires, at least one, we call it a text-based essay or a source-based essay, using 2 sources. So all of our assignments will have at least 2 sources provided by me and one of them at least, maybe I'll see about the next or another one, will have you go find your own sources as well. So really college writing is about taking the ideas of other people and integrating them with your thoughts and doing something with them. So we do that. So I do it with all three essays. So if your first essay and your second essay are the two best ones, and your third essay you kind of bomb, each of them will qualify for placement in the portfolio. Excuse me. So the portfolio process happens at midterm, happens at final. Midterm is considered a practice run, but if your essay is successful at that point, because we use end of term criteria to evaluate, if your midterm essay is successful, you're good, you just set it aside and resubmit it with the final portfolio, and it doesn't even get read because it passed once, and that's good enough. If your essay does not pass at midterm, we look at what the concerns are, and we revise it, and we decide, do we submit a revision, or did you do better on the papers that followed and you would rather submit those? So we still have our choice of papers to work from, so you can either revise or submit a different essay that you feel does a better job. So we'll do that in consultation with one another. With the face-to-face with my students on campus, we sit down and have conferences. I will invite all of you online students in for conferences as well. Some of you are taking classes on campus as well as taking online classes. So we'll just kind of play that by ear when it comes time for conferences. So the portfolio process, so that's it. You'll choose the essays we write and put them in. You must pass the portfolio in order to receive at least a 2.0 for the class. It's a non-negotiable kind of thing. And it's the way the department makes sure that students are receiving a roughly equivalent English 101 experience. What happens is you'll submit your essays and all the department will get together and we pass them around and read them and say it passes, it's almost passing but not quite, and it definitely does not pass. And I don't read your papers. We read everybody else's, and this way we see the kind of assignments people are doing and that sort of stuff. So, but this is a way we ensure that I'm not super hard, somebody else is super easy, or the other way around. That the workload is roughly the same and that sort of stuff, and the learning that you basically learn a similar amount from each person. If so, at midterm, you might revise for the final. If your final essay or your final portfolio comes up short, there is still opportunity to revise it then as well. It depends on how short it comes up. But generally speaking, we try to help you be successful in the class. So that's the portfolio process. And that's a lot. And you've been given a nearly 25-minute talking to by me, and I hope you're still awake, but you may not be. So if you're not still awake, or if I just woke you back up, go back, look through this, look over the syllabus, let me know any questions you have, and we will take it from there. So I look forward to working with you over the next 10, 11 weeks, whatever it is. I hope you'll be successful. My job here, like I said already, is to help you be successful, not to weed out the deadbeats and the dummies or something like that. That's not the kind of class this is. It's not the attitude most of us have. And we will take on some challenging work, and I will make you think about things you've probably never thought about before. And the research says that if we do that, you will come away from this a better writer, maybe a little smarter as well. Who knows? So if you got any questions, let me know, and I look forward to helping you out as we move forward. Bye-bye.